You're basically saying, like, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're basically saying it's not that those fears aren't there. It's just that you've kind of like, in a way, reprogrammed the way you think about it, which is actually pretty incredible.
It's like, yo, what are you scared of? You the headliner at an open mic. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy to think about, but like, nigga, what are you scared of? You know, and like I said, it's not, it's like I said before, I started off in rap. So it's like every rapper wants to be the best rapper.
Yeah.
It don't mean that I want you to be the worst rapper. It just means, motherfucker, I want to be the one. That's just it. You know.
I feel like in my head, like in my little, because we all, I feel like daydreaming is how this starts. Like before you became a comedian or whatever, you probably in your head was like, man, like kind of mentally visioning what would it be like to like kill it on stage and stuff like that. I have those daydreams in my head where I'm like fucking totally loose on stage, but when I get up there, I have this like fear of like, who the fuck do I think I am? Like you know what I mean? Like I have it like,
yo, I have that same. That this was crazy, and this might take the conversation somewhere else. I have that same.
Back to depression. No, just kidding.
Not necessarily, but maybe I have that same thought when it's time for me to get emotional. All right, so in February, right? My nana died. Rest in peace, Rose. She, like, I felt like it was of course, like I felt the emotion. And it got to a point where I couldn't hold it in no more. But I was holding it in because I'm like, man, what the fuck, in my head, fuck you crying for, nigga? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have those second guessing thoughts about that natural shit that's supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. So that's like, where you feel with like the spotlight and it's like, yo, who the fuck do I think I
feel
am?
that like when I have this like doubt in my head that I'm just like in my fantasy world and in my imagination, I'm like the shit on stage. And when I actually get up there, you know, I have okay material, like I have good ideas, but like I don't have that. Even like
what you just said, you played yourself short.
I said I have okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. This is why I'm bringing it up. Like a lot of young comics probably can relate to this. Like I feel like, how does somebody just go out there and be like, yo, what's up? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like, it's crazy. I don't know.
How long have you been? All right. So me, right? I've been, and I talked about this before on the first episode.
Yeah.
But since a child, in some type of way, I've been the center of attention when it counts.
Okay.
Like even when it's just there's no stage, there's nothing, but there's the school dance. I was the dancing motherfucker. I was the dude that was in the middle of the circle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm kind of just as a, you know, once I started comedy at 28.
Yeah.
But being in an environment full of people and you being the center of attention for damn near all your life,
it kind of was more natural.
By the time it's time for me to start comedy, it's like
it's comfortable with you.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like I don't know how long you've been performing in general, not comedy, but like.
So when I first started piano, like performing piano, I was a musician before a comedian. When I very first started performing piano, it took me about a good 5 or 6 years to get over incredible stage fright. So I went to school for piano, and we would have to do these like performances in front of like a large group of people and stuff in the audience, and I would like physically tremble, like my hands would shake when I was on stage playing piano, and I would leave and like
hands would shake while you're playing piano.
Yeah, and like sometimes I couldn't even finish a song.
Holy shit.
So I would and I would go home and I would cry and I would freak out. But it took me about 5 years to get over that. And like I'm not saying this to brag, like, or whatever. Like that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is like I came from that to this. I've had people like reach out to me like later when I finally got over the confidence thing or the stage fright thing, and they're like, I've had people tell me like, your performance you did of that piece, that was one of the best I've ever seen. Like you have like your stage presence and your passion behind your, you know, piano performances is really there. And I'm just like so I feel like I don't think comedy like I'm gonna be the best, like whatever, but I do feel like I have something there, but I'm going through the same process right now with comedy where I have like, not that I'm like trembling on stage. I feel like podcasting helps me get over those fears, but I'm just what I am naturally is very passionate about music and passionate about the arts in general, and I'm very passionate about stand-up comedy, but I'm not necessarily like naturally a center of the attention type of person. Like, I love the craft. I don't necessarily love being the center of attention.
It could also be wait, I got a question. So when you and your boyfriend, y'all do that piano drum shit, that's the drum set, or is that the drum set?
That's his drum set.
That's his drum set?
Yeah.
Oh man, so y'all just be
we're across from each other. Yeah.
Oh shit. Does that turn y'all? Do y'all fuck after them or? I just want. I'm a weirdo, man. I like, cause if I'm with a bitch and we love doing the same shit,
it's nice. Yeah.
Every time we do that shit together and it's genuine joy, I'll be like, man, I'm about to tear this motherfucker up.
So I'm not. I mean, I don't want to put all our business out there, but I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to our sex life, we're very like, we have like a kind of a ritual. So like there'll be times where like we'll be like horny, like after something like that, like we'll jam together and like either I'll get horny, he'll get horny, and we'll go like, no, let's save it for 8 o'clock. Like we're very we're very ritualistic people. Like we're very like,
you know what's fucked up?
Yeah.
That would fuck me up.
Really?
Because what happens is, right, it's
you like to be in the spur of the
like,
moment sexually?
Not necessarily. Like I just have to get. I'm such a hit or miss with that shit, because it's like, if I'm horny at 4 and you're like, let's save it for 8 o'clock, that means that there's no middle ground with me. Either the sex at 8 o'clock is gonna be phenomenal, or
you're just
I'm gonna get into my head too much and be like, oh shit, fuck, it's 7:45. It's
time, yeah.
Oh fuck, and like, so either it's gonna be phenomenal or it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
That's why that's actually dope if y'all could, you know. But here's the thing, that same energy you could do with the comedy shit. Yo, it's time to look. Hey, look, it's time to ride some dick. I know I'm finna ride the shit out this dick. Well, that's
also I want to say also I want to say this too. When I perform in a live band on stage, so that anxiety I was talking about was for solo classical piano. Imagine playing classical piano by yourself on a stage in front of like 100.
No, I feel
like
you.
Like it's because classical piano is this like high class, like people are very like, you know, it's,
you ain't gotta explain shit to me.
You know
I learned how to play Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah. So
I don't know a lot about the piano, but I know a couple songs.
When I do band performances and I'm with a group of people, I don't feel that same anxiety because it's a collaborative thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not like all the attention's not on me.
Yeah.
When I do comedy, like I love comedy and I'm in love with the craft of it, but there is incredible like anxiety about being like, holy shit. It's hard not to freak my shit out when I'm like, everybody's staring at me, the lights are shining on me, and everybody's silent right now and waiting to laugh. Like, but I still like to do it for some reason, and I want to break. I really want to break that barrier of like just being overwhelmed. How about if you take that
same mind state
about fucking at 8 o'clock
and say, well, nah. But like, if you take that same mind state and be like, holy shit, everybody's looking at me, right? And then just turn that shit around and say,
like, this is my, like what you said, this is my fucking show. Like, I'm headlining the fucking, yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's literally just a mental
mindset
discipline that really, and once you said what you said about like, yo, podcasting helped you, that's what helped me too, I believe, because
podcasting?
during COVID, I had a podcast. And
why don't you do it anymore?
Well, because I was doing it because I couldn't do comedy.
Gotcha.
So now it's like comedy is, I'm not finna make time for a pod. That was a filler. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But doing that actually helped me to, you know, for the people that watched and shit, it was like, because doing comedy, I would only post clips of certain shit.
Yeah.
But then when people got to see me in my raw element, like we just having raw conversation.
Yeah.
And they see how wild I am.
It kind of taught you like that's your funniest.
Yeah, that brought me, that like helped me be more of me on stage, because it's like, well, the type of person I am is on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So what am I, not that I necessarily ever held back, but it's just like, you know, I could talk about, now I talk about so much more shit from like life and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's that's how that shit works, man. It's really like anybody who like for your initial question, anybody who is like, yo, you wanna improve on your confidence and shit like that, it's really just a mental training.
Yeah.
Cause it didn't happen like overnight for me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's just a mental training of yo, I'm the shit. I wake up as a 32-year-old man. I wake up every morning, and as I'm driving to work or whatever I do, before I text anybody, before I look at my phone, anything, I find some solitude, and I just affirm myself. I say a whole bunch of positive shit because in my mind, that's energy that you're bringing into yourself and putting out.
Yeah.
I teach my daughter to do the same shit. She wakes up, yo, can I get my iPad? Yeah, you can get your iPad after you go to the mirror and you say that shit I told you to say. It's just it's you know, and she's gonna be 4 in June, so it's like I'm starting her because I never got that. Not to say that my parents were like never, not that they never wanted it, but they probably never thought of it.
I had a like going off what you're saying, I had a therapist once tell me, he's like, listen, Andrea, he's like, if you can anxiously come up with all these ideas about why you suck,
right,
why don't you just create all these ideas why you're awesome? Because you're fantasizing either way.
Right.
He's like, think of all the pieces of shit out there that think they're the shit and they're not. He's like, I'm not saying that's you. He's but he's like saying like
that mind
he's
state.
saying like your anxious thoughts like about how you suck and you can't do this, you don't deserve this, like those are just your thoughts. He's like, so why don't you just have thoughts about the other thing and just go with it? So you've kind of actually, now that we're like talking about this, you've like mastered that. You've kind of like, now that I'm kind of breaking it down, like your confidence and why you don't have very many inhibitions, you have loose inhibitions on stage. I feel like you've actually mastered the art of like changing your mindset, which is fucking, that's badass. Like that's kind of like what everybody wants to do, you know?
It's literally, I think that what drove me to that was, and I don't even know when I started doing it, but I've been doing it at least for like, it has to be for like 10 years.
Yeah.
It's just, I really don't even remember what started me doing it, but I was like, at some point in my life, I felt like it was just good to wake up and before you communicate with anybody, of course, if I wake up, somebody say good morning, I ain't finna be like, don't talk to me until I, say this positive shit to myself.
Yeah.
That's some asshole shit. But as far as engaging in real conversation, man, I think it's when my dad started like kind of just telling me about like history and, how before, slavery in the country and shit like that, like how like kind of like if you were native in like a African thing or even the natives here, maybe, there was a connection to the universe. And so I think from that's when I used to do it like outside every morning. I would go outside and I would just sit in the sun. Indians. Well, I don't know if Indian style is politically correct nowadays.
I don't think it is anymore. But we know
I don't even know how else to call it.
Pretzel legs. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. So I would go out and sit like that as like a grown man in the middle of some grass and just be in the sun and just be like, yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I'm blah 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 blah. And then over the years, more affirmations come and things like that, and then you create goals for yourself, and then you just keep repeating them to yourself so that it's like focus and all types of shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's literally just in like I don't want to say the black community because that sounds trendy, but in the black community, that's what they call like knowledge of self. Like you kind of know where you come from pre the slavery shit that we're only taught. Once you kind of know that, then it's like, all right, well, let me see what this connection to the universe is really about. And then you start seeing things getting rippled towards you where it's just like, yo, not because I'm not superstitious, I'm not none of that shit, but there is a way of thinking, where I feel like in some way you mentally control your universe.
I've actually heard theories about that before, and I've had thoughts like that myself because like I often like contemplate.
And I'm sorry, this ain't as funny as the last ones, but
no, it's okay. We're getting deep. I often, and the reason I even go through depressions is because I often get into a lot of thoughts about like, is there God? What's the purpose of life? What's the meaning of life? But like one of the thoughts I have had, and it kind of goes in alignment with what you're saying, is that maybe if there is a God, maybe there's a God inside each individual person. Like maybe not, and I don't mean that in an arrogant way, like I'm God. I mean like every human being possibly has God within them, in the sense that, like you just said, they could create their own universe. Like sometimes it feels like hocus pocus or whatever to feel like, oh, your thoughts create your reality.
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
sometimes it's like that's bullshit, but like I really do think there is something there.
There's an
you know?
Easter egg in every book that like when people subscribe to certain religions and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like I grew up Christian, right? And it says that God created man in his own image. Now, just boiling that down to the root, that means that there's something of God that's in my essence. It might not be I'm God, but if I'm created in the image of God, then my just being is this how God look, not on some physical shit, but it's just like when you break it down mentally, it's like that mentality.
God's a creator.
You don't have to
God's a creator, so each human being has the ability to create. That makes a lot of sense.
And this is what I got a daughter. I've created something. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you don't have to qualify like, yo, I'm not saying I'm God. How about, and this is where thinking outside the box comes in, because how about if as a woman you are? Because what came first, the chicken or the egg? I get the whole Adam and Eve thing. That's cool. But in my mind, that story don't make sense. Because they're if we want to talk about history and we want to talk about there's a time where there was giants and all types of shit like that, all these stories that are in the Bible, they're derived from some type of true event. The story of Jesus as we know it, I'm not sure if that's the A1 story, but there was definitely a dude that was something like that in history. You know what I mean? And it's like, maybe I can't take that story from the King James Version. You know, maybe I got to take that with like 2 or 3 grains of salt. But I can honestly be like, yo, I don't, like, when I say like the woman and shit, it's like, yo, I've never known a man to give birth to shit. And that story about the rib is cool, but that's the only story we hear about that shit. But I don't physically, but there's women that push life out of them every motherfucking day. That story of Jesus with the Immaculate Conception, I believe that there was a time on earth where a woman did not need to fuck a man to have a baby because people were pure, the spirituality connection between the people and the universe were pure, the earth and the air were pure. There was a lot of shit that was pure, so maybe at that time your mind really did control some shit. There's that X-Men movie where the dude is building the pyramids with his mind.
Yeah.
Now, do I believe that that's how that shit really happened? Nah, I do believe that there were slaves that built that shit. I don't believe in the fucking aliens did it and all that other shit. I believe Pharaoh was making them motherfuckers build that shit. Now, but now there's some type of credence that goes into even that scene in a movie because art displays life or whatever the fuck that phrase is.
Yeah.
Like there's something about, like I just said, your universe is controlled somewhat mentally. If you go around this motherfucker thinking the glass is half empty every day, your life is going to be
You're going to find
shit.
evidence of that.
But there was a time where I didn't, you know that song by Seal, Kiss from a Grave or Kiss from a Rose or Baby, I compare you to a kiss from a rose. You don't know that fucking song?
No.
Damn.
We should have jammed on the piano for that one.
Hell yeah. I'll sing if you play it. But like I remember that I was watching a podcast and there was a dude that asked some dude that was playing the piano on his podcast, yo, you know this song? And for the life of me, I could not figure out what that song was. And I was thinking about that shit for years. Like I would randomly over, like I think like the time spent like 3 years, I would just Google whatever I thought the lyrics were. And then out of nowhere, a couple years ago, they had the O.J. Simpson thing with Cuba Gooding Jr. where like they made the thing on FX where it was like a biopic, but it was a series.
Yeah.
And they played that song in the episode. And I'm watching it and I'm like, yo, that's the fucking song I've been looking for this whole time. And then I Googled it, and now it's like frequent on my Spotify. If I just let my playlist go, you're gonna hear "Kiss from a whatever the fuck the name is by Seal." But I think even that type of shit is energy, just because I don't believe in coincidence. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I spent mad mental energy trying to figure out what the fuck this song was. And then out of nowhere,
it got presented to you. I have stories like that as well. I have actually a lot of life experiences like that, but I'll just like pick one, to share with you and the audience, like just so we can give some real life examples. I used to do DoorDash for some extra cash, and at first I liked it because here's the thing: when I was trying to do like the musician, comedy, podcasting, artist lifestyle, I didn't want a real job. Like I didn't want a 9-to-5 job. So because I didn't want it to take up like a lot of my energy and my creative energy, so I wanted to find some like part-time gig. And here's the thing: I teach piano lessons, so that is like my part-time gig, teaching private lessons. But like sometimes like kids cancel or kids go on vacation.
Wait, time out. Am I just naturally louder than you?
It could be a thing with the knob, but when I edit the video, I could.
You could. All right.
Yeah, I could fix it. I could either bring myself up or you down and even us out a little bit. But anyways, what I was saying was like, I make the money from my piano lessons, but sometimes like during the summers, especially, they'll be like, "Hey, we're going on vacation for a month," and I have no income. Mm-hmm. So like I was doing the DoorDash thing, and then I remember. At first it was cool because I was making extra cash, but then after a while it really started to wear me down because I was like lonely. I was in my car. I was all by myself. I wasn't getting the greatest tips. I was using up my gas money. I was just driving around all fucking day. And then I was like in tears, and I pulled over on the side of the road, and I actually prayed out loud to like the universe, because I don't know what I believe, so I usually just say the universe. I usually say God or universe, whatever you are, whatever's listening. I sat there and I prayed and I said, I can't do this DoorDash shit forever. I was like,
that sounds like one of my prayers. I be cursing in my shit, man. I was Fuck it, I gotta be real.
I was like, I need the money, but I'm very focused on my craft, so I don't want like a real job. I just need a part-time job. I was like, I do speak Spanish. I have a degree in Spanish. I was like, is there anything out there? Like maybe I can find like Spanish tutoring, like part-time. No fucking shit you. I get a text 5 minutes later from one of my friends. He's like, "Hey, we're looking for a part-time Spanish teacher at our school."
That's just scary though when it happened, right?
Like, and it wasn't even like a few days later it happened. Yeah. I prayed that, and then it was like 5 minutes later.
No, that's some scary shit.
That's what I mean. So like I really it's and again, it's not like I'm God and I created the opportunity. The opportunity was probably there somewhere in the universe. And then God was like, all right, somewhere out there's got to be a need for a piano teacher. Let me get it to you. Like whatever.
Either that, God, or it could just be
I did create the shit. I don't.
Or it could have just been that was, cause see, this is where my own head, I get too deep in my shit and I might contradict myself like by accident, because there is a notion that I believe that maybe your mind mentally controls shit, but then maybe that was the plan the whole time. For you to think those thoughts and for you to say that prayer and then for it to happen, just to affirm you that maybe, yo, this is the backbone of some shit whenever shit just gets crazy. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, not too long ago, I had that same type of moment. It didn't happen as fast as you, but there was a time where I was just sitting outside on my car and I'm like, yo, man, a nigga needs something to happen, because, you know what I mean? Like, even though there's a lot of shows and all that shit, man, I see the discouraging fucking comedy stories, man, when motherfuckers be doing this shit for 12, 13 years and only asking to get paid $150 for a show. And not that the money validates shit, but
I mean, you have to make a living.
I've only been doing this shit. Yeah. I've only been doing this shit since 2019. So that means that in February, I'll be doing it for 4 years actively because COVID shut everything down for a year.
Yeah.
But the most I ever got paid for some shit was $400.
Oh, wow.
So I see motherfuckers doing it for damn near 15 years, and it's like, yeah, man, just give me $150. And I'll be like, oh, shit.
They're not asking for what they deserve.
Yeah, or maybe they just, it's just one of them things where it's just like, man, I ain't finna, bro, I have a legacy. Like, my daughter is real. I can't be out here 15 years from now only getting paid 150 for a show.
Yeah, maybe in the very beginning. But,
it can't happen. So that was a long. I ain't gonna say the whole talk because like even like we do here, I go with the same way I go on tangents with you. I go on tangents with the universe. Hey man, look, and that thing back in 2012, like it's like shit just be happening. So, but then no bullshit. I had a show at the Broadway up in the city. And unbeknownst to me, that was a competition. He might have said it was a competition, but I don't be. Once you tell me I'm booked, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit.
You're like, I got shit. I got bitches to take care of. Like.
It's not even that. It's just because no, it's not that. It's just I'm ready to do me. I don't give a fuck if it's a competition or not. I'm ready to hit the stage and say what I gotta say to make these motherfuckers enjoy the show. Yeah. So, unbeknownst to me, it was a competition. And now, from me performing at the Broadway, it was just April 25th. I'm back on the Broadway May 16th. Yeah. That was a shameless plug right there. May 16th, Broadway Comedy Club, New York City. And
I'll put, by the way, people, I'll put if you're in the New York, Jersey area, I'll put his Instagram below so you can follow him and find his shows and stuff.
Because I shove shows up the ass. If I got a show coming, you gonna see it at least once a week. Yeah. I'm gonna be here a month from now, and it'll go 3 weeks from now, and then 2 weeks from now. But from that show, I'm back there May 16th, and then I also got like a paid residency in some spot. I think it's called Scotty's in like PA somewhere.
Oh, okay. There's a Scotty's in Jersey. That's that place.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I love Scotty's because here's what my love-hate relationship with Scotty's. Scotty's is the first place that I ever did comedy. So I cannot hate it because that's where I formed the love like of actually doing it. But after doing it so many times and doing it so many different places and seeing how those many different environments are, yeah, fuck Scotty's. Yeah, Scotty's on some bullshit. It's on some bullshit, man. Y'all gotta change. Y'all gotta switch y'all shit up.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's crazy how shit like that be happening because I'm like, yo, now these paid residencies, sure, they might not be shit that I can live off.
Yeah.
But that's some resume shit.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, and then once the summer come and there's shows that I have under my belt where I'm about to start not touring booking, but just touring and being like, bruh, I done did this, I done did that. I can send you whatever you want me to send you and all that other shit, even if it's just emails.
Yeah.
Because that's how I got that show that I told you that I did, that I got paid $400.
Yeah. That
was an email. A comedian that I knew, she hit me and said, yo, it's this dude in way up north, New York. He paying, no, I don't think it was $400. I think it was $300. Mm-hmm. He's paying $300 and a hotel room for the night. And I said, tell that nigga I'll be there. I don't need to know no details. I'm there. What the fuck? But that was a 7.5 hour drive. I woke up. That show was on a Friday night. I woke up Friday morning, went to work from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Drove from 10 o'clock to whatever time I got the party, because it was his birthday party. He just wanted to come to comedians there for his birthday party. So the party started at like 8. I got to the hotel room with just enough time to shower and get dressed. went to the party, performed, hung out there till like 12, went back to the hotel room, slept for like 2 hours, and then got right back on the road to be back at work 10 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah.
So when you do shit like that, it's just like, bruh, I can't, like, I feel like the universe or whatever runs this shit, God knows, like, man, this motherfucker do anything for this shit.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's a plan. I don't think there's a master plan that's altered. I think that there's a master plan and we just fall in line with that shit. Yeah. And whatever happens to make us feel like, yeah, I did that shit, that's just our confidence boost. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like, like there's a notion out there like, oh man, he died too soon. I don't feel like that. I feel like motherfucker died when he was supposed to die.
So on one hand, you believe that we could create our universe, but on another hand, you believe that it's all set.
I believe that we create I believe that, yeah. All right, here's that's funny that you said it like that, because now it brings me to the realization that I believe that we are programmed to believe we create our universe, if that's what we believe. If I believe that I create my universe, I think that that's what I was supposed to believe. I believe everything is predestined. It's hard for me to think that God or the universe or something like that is like shifting a master plan just because of some shit I asked for. You know what I mean? Like that shit is just like, my arrogance is high, but that's just way too motherfucking arrogant for me to be like, yo, whatever's running this whole thing, this finna happen because I asked for it. I feel like everything happens for a reason, even the shit that you feel like is bad, right? Motherfuckers will be driving somewhere and get a flat tire, and people feel like everything that happens to you happens for a reason. Like, you're supposed to know that reason, or the reason is supposed to be personal to you, right? Mm-hmm. But if you driving somewhere and you get a flat tire and you got to pull over and fix that flat tire, right? There could be a motherfucker who was behind you, or 3-4 cars behind you, that was about to be late for work, and he had an emergency, but this is his last time being late, or he gonna get fired, and you had to pull over so that this motherfucker could do 90 to work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but then if that were if that were the case, then the universe could be altered at any moment, because something like that couldn't happen unless it was to alter it for the assistance of this guy.
Yeah, but even if that assistance was supposed to be there, you know what I'm saying?
So maybe you're saying
maybe because like, it's a domino effect, right? You got to pull over to fix your flat tire. He does 90 to work. He goes on to be a successful whatever the fuck he's working at. Like, all that shit.
So you're saying it's already, all those domino effects have been
I believe that I believe that it'd be bogus for me to take credit for anything. The only thing I could take credit for is the love that I have for this shit that could still be instilled in me.
Do you know who, sorry to interrupt you, but do you know who takes on that mindset? I'm split on the mindset. Like, sometimes I'm like, yeah, everything is out of my control. And then sometimes I'm like, it's hard for me to decide. That's something I'm not decided on. But one person who does have that mindset that is very convincing, I look up to, is Lauryn Hill. Do you like Lauryn Hill, the singer? She's very...
what the fuck?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if you're into her. But she...
Top 5 albums of all time, The Miseducation.
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is one of my favorites also. But I've listened to some of her interviews, and it's very inspiring. Like, she never brags. Like, she's very like, I can't take credit for my singing voice because it's just a reflection of God. I'm not here to glorify myself. I'm here to... My gifts are... here to glorify God. Yeah. Like, that's always how she speaks. And again, it's not necessarily that I 100% believe in it, but when I hear her speak that, there's still something valuable I get from that for some reason.
That's exactly how I feel about when I do comedy. Like, even though my comedy, when people might hear it, they be like, oh man, this nigga don't know nothing about God. I promise you that when I'm up there, some jokes are embellished just to keep shit funny. And then some jokes, I might omit things to keep them funny.
Yeah.
But the premise, the context, that's all true. And in my mind, it's like, bro, I'm not up here to offend anybody. And I feel like when you're doing things genuinely and you are authentically not being malicious, in some way, man, you're doing God's work, because people perceive... Positive and negative is perception.
But then that still brings me to the proof of free will. Because if a lot of religions say that God put you on earth to decide which will to follow. Free will being like, do you want to follow your demons and be a piece of shit so that you have everything selfishly?
Right.
Or do you want to follow God's will?
This is why I don't necessarily fuck with religion, because religion makes terms like free will. Right, where it's like...
No, but scientists also talk about free will.
Well, yeah, but even science is a religion to some people who...
I've heard that.
You know, but my thing is like this, right? If there's free will, that's cool, right? Nobody is stopping me from pointing a gun at your head and pulling the trigger. My intent is to kill you if I shoot you in the head. But if by some reason the bullet don't hit whatever artery it's supposed to hit and shit like that, you'll just be a nigga who got shot in the head, but you'll still be alive. So yeah, free will is free will, but divine, like the divinity, the plan that's supposed to happen is gonna happen. Yeah. So like, I get the free will thing, but it's still like, yo, man, look, if there's a force out there that's managing everything, I can't say that, you know, I'm doing anything by free will, because for all I know, this is just what I'm supposed to think is free will. Or for all I know, this is what I'm programmed to want to do. Even the bad shit, man, good and bad, like I said, positive, negative is perception. In every negative situation, you could find a positive about it. I try to focus on, like, if there's a situation that seems like it's negative, I try to analyze that shit. Well, I don't try. I analyze it, and I figure out what can come from this shit that's positive, or what about it is positive, and let me focus on that. And then over time, your perception of the situation becomes positive. There's free will, there's free think, there's free all that shit, but there's also your way of internalizing things. You know what I'm saying? It's like I told you in the beginning, where it's like, you know, I was in that whatever form of depression that was. You know, that was just me internalizing some negative shit. Whereas something happened where it just pulled me back, and I was just like, oh no, wait, relax, that's y'all shit, and I'm here to help. But you bitches is tripping, so fuck it. That's on you.
But see, like, I still don't, I mean, I don't know what I believe in yet. I feel like anything's possible, really. But I want to believe that you pulled yourself out of that mess. Like, I want to believe that you...
You know what that is? That is human
arrogance.
You don't want to know why? Because as humans, we are just like that. And that's part of my... I don't like to give away my little affirmations that I say, but part of my affirmations is always...
Be humble.
Being humble, at least to whatever force is running this shit. Now, when it comes to people, hey, whatever, nigga. My ego is 10 times higher than yours, I promise you. But when it comes to the force that's running this shit, my thing is being humble, because everybody that says something like what you said exactly what you said. I like to think that that's the reason. But motherfucker, unless we could prove it, thinking that is just to make you feel better as a human being, and knowing you don't have no control, so maybe you want to feel like you have some fucking control.
Yeah.
I'm okay with knowing I have no control, as long as I know that I'm walking righteously. That's all I give a fuck about. I'm not out here robbing people. I'm not out here killing people. I'm not out here doing no shifty, shisty, malicious shit. So as long as I could walk in that lane, I'm okay with letting the chips fall where they may.
So if somebody doesn't walk down that lane,
but then that's all perspective.
Is it their fault necessarily if they don't have control?
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's a two-sided question, because ignorance is bliss, right? So somebody could be doing some hella negative shit but think it's positive.
That's actually true.
You know what I'm saying? In the environment certain people grew up with,
Hitler thought he was doing the best thing for the German people.
And that's some, and you know, yo, here's where energy is crazy, because I wanted to say his name but I didn't.
Hitler?
Yeah, you did though. That's nuts how like this conversation is going, because I wanted to be like, yo, man, he thought what he was doing was a good thing.
But after Kanye, you don't want to.
Nah, not even that, bro. Look, look. And this is the example I bring about Kanye, right? His argument is, yo, I got ripped off by Jews my whole music career. Damn, I'm going to say Jewish career. My whole music career. So naturally, his beef is going to be with not every Jewish person in the world, but if you got ripped off by this person, you got ripped off by 5 people, and all 5 of them people are Jewish, every one of your beefs are going to be with Jewish people. That doesn't mean you beef with everybody that's Jewish. That means that you have a beef.
This is gonna. I'm gonna be called racist for this, but
shit.
I've thought the same thing about some of the accusations towards like Karens. They're like, oh, this lady, this Karen's, you know, was walking alone in the park and saw a black guy and was afraid, she's racist. It's like it's a man alone in the park. Like black, white, like it doesn't fucking matter what he is.
Here's where that point gets valid, because that goes to my example of the Kanye thing.
Yeah.
My example is always, and it's usually like, usually white people make that joke. Oh yeah, the Kanye West, man, he's a Nazi and all types of shit like that. All right, cool, fair enough. But if you go somewhere and you get robbed by a black person, maybe that first time you'll be like, man, that motherfucker was nuts.
Yeah.
But then you know, a year later you go somewhere and you get robbed. Maybe the first person just robbed you, put a gun to you and said, give me all your shit.
Yeah.
You gave it to him. He didn't touch you. He didn't harm you, but whatever.
Yeah.
Now you go somewhere and 3 people come, rob you and beat you up.
Yeah.
Oh shit, damn, these motherfuckers are nuts. Now, 2 years from then, you go somewhere and you get robbed and beat up and raped. After that third time, you might be like, these niggas are crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's called PTSD. So like, you can have that effect from things that aren't even human.
Exactly.
Like I could be in a situation where like I interviewed a guy who was a combat veteran, and he said he had PTSD from certain smells that he smelled. Okay. So like there was there was some type of oil. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was some type of oil that his opponents would wear or something like that. And then he said now when he goes out and he smells it, his body fucks with like, you know what I mean? So some people might come across as racist, but they might have just like genuinely had experiences.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean? That's what I use to qualify
Kanye.
Because even Kanye, look, motherfuckers can say crazy and shit like that, but that's still a state of trauma.
Yeah.
Bro, I've been creating this beautiful shit for a long time, and you motherfuckers have just been getting money off of my like, you've just because you had the business,
yeah,
you've been getting that bread. And if I find out that you're getting more bread than we signed up for, that shit is gonna make me mad as a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna make me mad as a person anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, yo, wait, hold up, you been getting what off the top? Hold up, wait, who the fuck is this? Like, all types of shit. You be like, yo, nah, y'all been fucking me. And then when you a dude who come from a certain environment, Kanye West is from the south side of Chicago. That's when you do shit like that, you basically calling me a bitch, because that's just what we revert to. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, not only are you taking from me, but you're taking from me because you think you can. So if you think you can take from me, you're calling me a bitch.
Yeah.
And I got a problem with that. So I feel like that's his stance with the shit. Now, all the other shit he said about like George Floyd and all that other crazy shit, that's his synopsis of what that was. But I genuinely feel like, bro, people are only, you're only responsible for what you've been through and how you internalize what you've been through.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I can't sit here as you as a white chick, I can't sit here and say like, yo, if you've been violated by 4-5 black dudes in your past, but then it comes out that you are fucking uncomfortable with me sitting next to you this close, I can't be mad at you if you're uncomfortable because of that reason.
Yeah. Because
that's just some natural human shit.
Or the same way, like, I couldn't be mad at certain guys who were like mean to me, like, because I feel like sometimes there's I guess they actually have a term for them now. They call them incels. Incels are guys that like never got laid.
Virgins.
Not necessarily virgins, I wouldn't say, but just like guys who are not lucky with women, and over time they
bitches.
Over time they develop anger and resentment towards women, and their attitude is like, yo, fuck, like, women are pieces of shit. And it's like, well, I guess that's a different case. Like, I kind of can blame. That's not that. No, so okay, so in case anyone doesn't know, but I'm pretty sure this is like common. There's a term there called incels now. Incels are men who struggle to get female attention. They struggle to get laid. It doesn't necessarily mean they're virgins. They maybe could have paid for it, or I don't know, like, or they could have had, like, you know, whatever. They could have done it. But in general, they don't have luck with women or keeping women. Maybe they get women and they dump them. And then after time, they develop a toxic view of women. They're like, it's not me, it's all the woman. But I'm kind of backtracking and challenging my own thought, because I was going to be like, oh, it's like this, like what we were saying about the Kanye thing. But actually it's not, because I think in that case, if you're getting rejected by that many women, it is you. Like, you know what I mean?
But isn't incels like an actual thing? Not just like a title they put on dudes like that, but isn't incels
Look it
I've
up.
heard of incels
You have
before.
your phone. Google incel.
Yeah, I was about to take a selfie of us because
A selfie?
when we first got here. Nah, go ahead and keep talking. I just,
I don't have anything else to say. I just wanted you to go Google what an incel is. What do I do? I'm not good at like posing for photos, by the way. What do I just
sit there and be your pretty self. All right, incels. How do you even spell that? Is it
I-N? I'm pretty sure it's it's INCEL. Google what is an incel, and then we can look up the textbook definition of incel.
All right.
I don't want to see your history.
Nah, yeah. I don't know if my shit, because I got an X videos tab.
I'm not gonna judge. I'm not gonna judge.
One time I went to go Google some shit in front of my mom, and like X videos popped up. I was like, hey, all right.
I think she probably didn't even notice.
No, she did. The type of porn that I'm into. She was like, man, you watch that? I was like,
she saw it. She saw what you were watching.
Yeah, because it just popped up. Incel. The second thing was incel killer.
What is an incel? Why are they so angry?
Incel, a member of an online community of young men who
Okay, say it in the mic. Say it in the mic.
All right. Incel, a member of an online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually, typically associated with views that are hostile towards women.
Yeah,
and
that's
men
exactly what I said.
All right, yeah.
So it's like men that become hostile towards women.
I feel like, wow, I didn't know.
There's another incel.
I thought that was a term like Karen is a name, but then that's just the name that they gave to bitches who be bugging out on black people.
Yeah.
I thought that incel was a thing, but that's just something that they also gave to this group of dudes.
It could be it could be something else too. I don't know what the other thing is. Incel sounds like something in a prison, right? Like
no, well, yeah, I mean, if you go surface level, incel to me sound like some retarded shit. Damn, I'm sorry. Fuck. Blank that out.
Do you really want me to blank that out?
No, I don't know, because they'll flag shit for like words like that and shit. But that just came out. But incel sounds like something that's like a deformed human type of thing. That's what incel sounds like to me.
I don't know. Listeners, drop in the comment section below. Is there some other definition of the word incel?
And I'm sorry for dropping the hard R.
No,
I
okay.
usually only just say nigger.
I had one guy on here who dropped the N-word, and but he's that's what I'm getting at. He is black, but he's like a light skinned black.
Wait, is it my man?
Which man?
Fucking oh fuck, I can't remember his name. Say his name. Shit, I can't remember. It starts with like an A or something. He's from down here though.
He's from Philly.
I performed with him like twice at Miss Silly.
He's actually coming. He's going to be my third time on the podcast. Albert Davis. Sorry, I forgot his name.
Yeah,
so Albert Davis. So
Albie, what's happening?
He said the N-word on the podcast, and I like looked at the camera. I was like, just so you know, guys, he is black. Like because like I have the white lights on us to make us look nicer. And
he's like my shade though, right?
No, he's
mixed.
He might be.
No, he is. Now
what's your take on that? Can a mix use the word?
Yeah, as long as they identify as that.
Okay.
Because like a dude like Albert, right? And shout out to Albert.
He's awesome.
I think we performed twice at Miss Silly's.
He's great.
And I actually had, like, if you look at my profile, you'll see that there's a clip of the last time I was at Miss Silly's and Albert was on the show and the host brought him up as like, yo,
the host
give it up for this tall, sexy, light-skinned guy, but the host was a white dude. Yeah. So Albert goes on stage, he's like, yo, can he say like light skin like that? Like, I get he didn't say nigga, but like, what the fuck he call it? You know what I'm saying? But the way he did it was just funny as fuck. And so I kind of riffed off of that when I went on stage too. But nah, Albert is funny as shit. But like a dude like Albert, he is honest to who he is and to how he is. So in my mind, I'm not finna listen, there's this thing called the one drop rule where
Obama,
if you got one drop of black in you, you considered black anyway. Yeah. Now maybe your skin color will help you play off some other shit. Yeah. But when people find out you black,
if I do my DNA testing and I find out that I'm 1%, if I go get a 23andMe and I find out that I'm like 1% African, does that count as the one drop rule for me? I'm just kidding. It definitely doesn't.
Yeah, but you gotta fuck a black guy before you start saying nigga.
That's
You have
okay.
to
That's
fuck a black guy.
I've actually heard of situations where
Have
like
you ever fucked a black guy?
I actually haven't, and it's not because I've never been attracted to them. It's just because I never have. I don't know. I never. I'm trying to think. Did I ever go like? Did I ever?
Was
No.
it proximity?
What do you mean? What is it? What do you mean?
Well, because people fuck who they're around mostly. You
Yeah,
know.
I don't.
I fucked a lot of girls of different races because I just grew up in a mixed neighborhood.
That's the thing. Like, I don't think there was ever. I fucked a lot of Spanish guys because I was around them a lot.
Okay, so one drop rule. Yeah, you fucked a nigga like by like kinda. What kind of Spanish was it? Puerto Rican or Dominican?
Oh, all of them. I had a Mexican boyfriend.
A Mexican, yeah, you fucked
I had a
nigga.
Peruvian boyfriend.
Mexican is the nigger Spanish.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I grew up in Bound Brook, New Jersey. It's a very like Spanish population.
Yeah, you fucked a Mexican that wasn't no taller than you are now.
No, I had a thing for Spanish guys. I had a thing for a Salvadorian guy, a Mexican guy, Peruvian
There's not
guy.
too many black people down there though.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I had like a close, like, black guy friend.
I mean, I was trying, but then you got in a relationship. So fuck it.
No, I
can handle rejection well, you know.
I was gonna say maybe like you were my close friend. I'm trying to think like besides that.
Was Josh close?
He's not really a close friend. Like I know him, but we're not
But you
close
would
like
pick me
that.
over Josh, though, right? You don't gotta answer that. Yeah. I like to fuck with Josh anytime, like even when he's not here. That's some bullying
do you want me
shit.
to actually answer the question? So,
No, because I feel like now you about to go.
No, I'm not going to answer it, but I'll give you my honest.
All right, go ahead.
Like, so I go off personality, not by looks. So it would really depend. For me, if I was single and I had to choose between you and Josh, it would depend on who I think would treat me the best.
All right, Josh, you won. You won, nigga. Fuck it.
So
Nah,
I don't like.
I treat you good. That's what's funny, man. That's what's wild about these fucking these fucking
bitches.
intimacies and shit like that. That's what I was gonna say about when you said your therapist said like, yo, if you can come up with all these reasons why you're not good enough, fucking like that's how I be talking to. Because when you deal with multiple people, right?
Yeah.
Assumptions come. But for some reason, right? Like there was one time, right, where I went to the movies. This was like, I think this was maybe right after COVID was open, where like things were opening back up in Jersey and shit. And I went to the movies with this chick, and the thing that turned me on about her was the fact that she was not significantly older, like on some 50s shit, but she was like, you know, I think I was like 31 at the time, and she was like 43.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it's like, man, if women mature faster than guys, if she's 43, she actually might think like a 48-year-old.
Yeah.
So maybe I have a chance with her being just some type of rational. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was one time where like I had got off of work and I had told her earlier in the week, like, yo, what you doing Saturday? You want to go to the movies? And she was like, yeah. Matter of fact, it was around the time where Jackass movie came out, the new one. So we went to go see that. And so then I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, we're going to go to the movies on Saturday, right? That was the plan.
Mm-hmm.
So now after the movies, we driving back towards her house, and she's like, so what's up now? And I'm like, well, I'm about to drop you off and go home. And she's like, and she had an attitude. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? She was like, well, I just thought, like, you know, we would hang out after the movies and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like,
And
yo, I got to get up.
She wanted to have sex.
Well, maybe, but I'm like, yo, I got to get up early tomorrow. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I got quiet, because once I feel like you got an attitude and I didn't do nothing wrong, I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. So I turn the music on. She turns the music down, and she's like, you're not going to say nothing? I'm like, yo, what the fuck you want me to say? She's
So
like,
I
don't
think
know.
from a woman's perspective. Okay, go ahead.
Here's the mark. She's like, I need you to like talk me down off the ledge from this shit. I'm like, bitch, you got yourself to the ledge. Why the fuck do I gotta reel you back in when you assumed all that other shit? That's kind of like what your therapist was saying with like yo, you can come up with all these ways that you're bad, but can't come up why you're good.
Yeah.
Why the fuck, as a dude, why do I have to? If you come up with if your imagination is great,
Yeah.
with all the bad shit,
Yeah.
or whatever, why the fuck can't it be great with, like, you know, because I tell motherfuckers all the time, yo, don't, if you're gonna assume the worst of me,
Yeah.
then assume the best of me too. At least give me that balance, because if I don't show you that I'm a bad guy, you can't just think that I'm a bad guy.
So what I was going to say is, because I'm a woman, I can like see things from a woman's perspective. I think what happened there, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if she told you, I think what happened there is like she felt like the movie was like you weren't putting in effort. Like you don't have to talk in a movie. That's probably what she was feeling at the time.
But
like she probably felt like, okay, movie's nice, but like I want to have a conversation with you. Like that's
maybe.
probably what she was feeling.
But even with that, right? My thing is, all you got to do is express that.
Calmly,
let's talk
like
about that.
calmly.
Not even that. Express it and let's make that plan together.
Yeah.
But if the plan is to go to the movies, and you know we're not finna talk in the movies, don't just make up in your head that we finna hang out after the movies.
Without saying so, yeah.
Yeah, what we doing after the movies? Before the movie date.
Yeah.
What we doing after the movies? Well, I got to get up early on Sunday, so, you know, that
Or
way you
say,
could be like,
or
that way
you could say like, hey, if we only have a short window of time, I'd rather not see a movie because I want to like hang out and talk. Let's grab
Fair.
a drink.
Whatever.
Yeah, that. So I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? But
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Don't make up shit for me. Don't make my plans for me. That's some crazy shit. That's where my real disconnect with a lot of females be coming with, because I am so stern. And like off stage, I stick to the script so well.
Mm-hmm.
On stage, like you said, I don't have a script. I have bullet points, and what I want to talk about, I have the knowledge to talk about, and that's just it. I don't need a script. But off stage, my shit is boom, 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 boom. So that's just, if I don't do that, my life is too, man. Look, I'm telling you, it's fatherhood, it's comedy, it's work.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not, and see, here's the thing. In my mind, this is work right now. We creating content.
Yeah.
So I don't like even this, right? People be like, that's not, but it is like.
Yeah, because it's
a lot of motherfuckers can't sit here and do this for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit! Like, it's been we have to.
Well,
end
no.
It's hour and 30. We probably have to end it soon, but.
I'll tell you what time it is now.
What time is it?
4:49.
Okay, we probably do have to end it. But let's just have some final thoughts before we end it. Damn, this sucks. We could have had like a 3-hour podcast, but you're always welcome to come back in a few months too.
I showed up 50 minutes late because I'm a real nigga.
Okay.
Join in. I showed
I'm not
up.
gonna join. You have one. I don't want to. Never mind. I was gonna say you have one joke where you like. I'm not gonna say what it is, but you basically trick the white people into saying the N-word. Like you don't trick them in, but you get them to almost say it. Is that you or is it somebody else? It's like we'll talk about it later because I don't want to give you shit.
I don't know about that, but I do have a joke tricking women into appreciating monogamous men. But that context came from a Patrice O'Neal joke. He has a joke where it's his style of comedy. A lot of people and Patrice O'Neal's. I think that's my goat. I think that's my favorite.
I think you talked about that.
But he has a joke where and rest in peace. There's no credit I'm taking for this, but it's just giving context to mine. He has a joke where he's like you know, because a lot of his comedy is considered misogynist. So he has this joke where he's like, all right, ladies, like, yo, let's say you get into a tragic accident and you have to lose your pussy. Like the doctor is like, yo,
how could you lose your pussy?
Yo, you know, you gotta lose your pussy. He said, how would you keep your man after 2 weeks after that? Because you get a 2-week time span of guilt. Yo, I can't just leave her now because that's fucked up if I leave her. But after that, how do you keep your man? And women would shout from the audience, oh, blowjob. Oh, there's anal. Oh, you know, he's like, all right, cool. See, y'all looking at me like I'm misogynist, but y'all just classified yourself as a series of holes. Like, no bitch said, yo, learn how to play PlayStation. Nobody said learn how to tell better stories. It's just, you know, bring another bitch with a pussy in. Everybody just, you know, you went to, so it's like, I when I seen that, I'm like, oh, that's some ill reverse psychology, like, just walk right into it shit. Yeah. And I have a joke about monogamy with that I'm not going to say. But I have a joke about monogamy with that where that's where I came up with the shit, because I'm like,
You,
how
like,
do I
trick them,
have
yeah.
some shit like that? But I
Yeah.
do want to hear the N-word shit, because I'm not sure, but
I don't want to say it on camera because
No,
like,
don't say it. I'm saying you said we'll say it after we
we'll say it
end the shit.
afterwards
Yeah.
and we'll try to figure it out. But anyways, we have to end it now. We could have gone longer, but he was late, so we have a
Cause
deadline.
I'm a real nigga. Join in. Hey, I'm a real. You say he's a real. No,
I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to get myself
she's
in
1%
trouble.
African, right? What country? Because Africa.
I didn't actually get a 23andMe, but my dad did, and he has African in his blood.
What country?
I think just. Oh
No,
which
ain't
co-
no
which-
goddamn just Africa. What the fuck?
I just realized that.
Holy shit!
I don't know what country. I don't think.
That's
I'm not
funny
sure if
as
they say.
hell.
Okay. Anyways, Pranzata podcast episode number 82. What else? If you want to follow him, I'm gonna drop his stuff below. I'm
Ricky
gonna drop.
Ramesses the Great. Instagram. I was about to say Instagram.com. Instagram at RICKYRAMESSES the Great. The Great is spelled regular. Facebook is Ricky space Ramesses, again RAMESSES. Twitter is Rick Ram the Great. Snapchat is Prince Ricky, baby. Whatever the fuck you gonna follow me on, follow me on.
I'll drop the Instagram link below because I'm an Instagram. I'm an Instagram hoe. I love it. So I just put everybody's Instagram here, and I'm sure you can easily find all his other stuff through there.
Yeah.
But that's it. Pranzata podcast episode number 82. Ricky Ramesses. Third time's a charm, and he'll probably be back again because he's one of our favorite guests on here.
And next time we'll get back to the funny shit. This time we got deep.
No, we did. It was a mix. It was like a good. It was like a good. You know,
Yeah.
it was like a good good family movie.
You
There
know
was
what's funny, and then I'll shut the fuck up so you can end it. But the first one was extremely funny, and then the second one was kind of like a 50-50 mix of deep and funny.
Yeah.
Now this one is like way more deep than it was funny.
But I think it was a mix. I think we started funny and we got deep, and I think that's a good way to do it.
And for all you single ladies out there, and even if you got a boyfriend, I don't give a fuck. I always get deep. It don't matter what. It don't matter what you're talking about. Look at these arms. You see this arm?
That long, skinny dick can go deep.
It can. It ain't going to stretch your walls out, but it'll push them back.
Okay, Prinzata podcast. Have a good night, guys. Bye.